Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we are talking all things money when it comes to study abroad. So I went into my Girls Study Abroad Facebook group and I asked them to send me in all the questions that they have about money. Budgeting, setting up a bank account, funding, saving money, scholarships, kind of all the stuff that no one really tells you about. We are gonna talk about that in this video. This video is part of my 7-day video series celebrating the launch of my ebook Girls Study Abroad, a student guide to studying abroad. In this ebook I have dedicated several chapters to the topic of money because I know that money and finance is one of the biggest obstacles when it comes to studying abroad. Setting up your budget, how to save money, I literally go so in depth and I share with you all the little details that you might forget. So if you find this video helpful, then you will love the Girls Study Abroad ebook, and if you buy it in real time, then you can even get it for a very special discount. The link to the ebook is down below in the description box. The first question is, how much money do I need per week, excluding the cost of accommodation? Is £100 enough or should I have more? So this is regarding the girl who is studying abroad in England. And I have to say that £100 is a really good weekly budget. However, when thinking about budget, I always say you have to calculate on a monthly basis because there are expenses that you simply don't have every week, such as your insurances, paying for flights to and from home, monthly transport passes, things you might need for your home like kitchen supplies, home decor, bedding, makeup or toiletries, weekend trips and day trips, gifts for friends and family, and also special events at uni. So as you can tell, there are expenses that you might not think about when thinking about a weekly budget. Either have a little bit extra in your budget for any of those expenses, or if you already know that, for example, you love going out to coffee shops. So I have a £15 budget for coffee shops every week. When it comes to budgeting, it's so much about yourself and what are your priorities. Obviously, you can spend much less than £100, but for me personally, I think that £100 per week is really great. Also a budgeting question, how much money for food do you need a month in Scotland? And just as with the first question, it really depends on you. It depends on how much you eat, how many meals a day you eat, if you're vegan or vegetarian, or if you have any intolerances, whether you cook at home a lot and you bring your lunches, for example, to university, or whether you buy a lot of takeout and you go out to restaurants. For me, I have a grocery budget of £80 per month, so £20 per week. I always have a porridge for breakfast, which oats are really inexpensive. I love making a lot from sweet potato because sweet potato is healthy and it's inexpensive. Obviously, you can go even less, like you can live from £10 per week when you only buy frozen vegetables, canned vegetables and rice. I personally choose to buy high quality organic food, so obviously that's a bit more expensive than when you just go into Aldi and you buy the cheapest stuff possible. But generally, if you want to save some money on food, I highly recommend cutting out fish and meat because that's usually the most expensive. And Amy asks, how do you stay in your budget and keep track of everything? Do you keep a diary? And also Ashley on that topic asks, do you have any budgeting spreads that you can share with us, or do you keep it all in a spreadsheet? I share with you my budget overview really in detail in my ebook. One of the best ways, in my opinion, to stick to a budget. Let's say your budget is £80 for groceries for a month. So what you will do is you will go to the bank and you will take out £80 in cash and you will put it into a little envelope. So you have different envelopes such as for groceries, for savings, for traveling, and then you put in the cash into that and then you always pay with cash. And so you have a better overview over what you are actually spending. I have an app on my phone where I can track all of the expenses I have with my credit card. I can go back into my app and track, oh, okay, that was that here, can I save a bit of money? How to save a lot of money? That is the #1 question that I also asked myself. To be 100% honest with you, I'm not the best at saving money because as soon as I have money, I go onto Skyscanner and I book a flight. Anyone else? Anyone else? I highly recommend you guys to get cash envelopes. I can show you guys my savings envelopes. my travel savings envelope, birthday or for Christmas or any special occasion where I don't reinvest my money, for example, in my business or whatever, I take it out from my bank account and I put it in here. The chances are way less likely that I will use it, because if it's on my bank account, I unfortunately don't have a savings account. If I had, then I would do that, but I don't. If I have it on my bank account, it's much more likely that I spend the money, so I really recommend you guys to take it out in cash. And obviously you really need to have a goal and a timely deadline. So let's say until June 2020 you want to save 2,000 pounds. You would go back and you would see, okay, if I want to do that, then this is how much I have to save every single month, every single week, every single day. And then you can think about how can you actually earn more money so you can put that towards savings. Andrea asks, how can you pay for university? Have you collected money? Or do your parents support you, or do you take a student loan? So there are three main ways, kind of. You can either take out a student loan, or you get a scholarship from your home country or from your university. The second way is to get a part-time job and to kind of have savings just in case you don't immediately get a job. I would definitely say if you have to pay it completely for yourself, you always have to have savings. But my friend Marissa, for example, she works part-time jobs and she pays for a whole study abroad by herself. And then the final way, obviously, if you get supported from parents, from your family. For me personally, how I afford my study abroad is that I work different part-time jobs right now. I'm working online. I've been working online for 1.5 years now. Also, I'm very fortunate that my parents support me, and I really want to obviously pay them back once I finish my university. And of course, when I first went to Scotland, especially, I used a lot of my savings. And then Jenny asked, how do you make money online? So there are so many ways to make money online. I will link a video here that I think is really great about side hustles and working from home. There are so many opportunities, especially nowadays. Hop onto Indeed or LinkedIn and look for remote positions. I personally have worked in the past as a social media manager, as a coach, and as a consultant. Right now I'm doing freelance video editing and video projects, and obviously I am building my own brand here on YouTube. I'm gonna sell the ebook, I want to sell different courses. So if you're from the US or Canada, you can totally do English teaching. Ruth asks, what are the best jobs for students? I think when you can work at your uni, that would actually be a really cool job. I know that my uni offers a few different jobs, so make sure you check out your university's website and you'll see what kind of jobs they offer. A lot of students work in customer service, so did I. I used to work at Burger King, and in restaurants, bars, always are looking for people. It's really high in demand. I also don't really demand a lot of previous work experience, which is great, but I also know a lot of students who like work in retail, so fashion stores. I really just recommend going into different places, stores, and just handing in your CV and yeah, applying that way. Jagoda asks, how do you keep your money? Do you keep all of it in one British bank account or split it with your hometown bank? I have two bank accounts, which is my German bank account and my Scottish bank account. I got my Scottish bank account for my job at Burger King, so whenever I did a part-time job in Scotland, obviously the money from that part-time job would go onto that Scottish bank account, and now I use the bank account to pay my rent. But other than that, all of my money basically is on my German bank account. That's where I get paid usually for my different jobs. I only use my Scottish bank account really for what I need, so I only put the money on there that I really will need for the rent. I mean, I obviously always make sure that there is some extra because you don't want to go like over it or your payments will fail. Like, that's not cool. Always make sure you have a little bit of a buffer. I keep it simple and I have most of my money on my German bank account. Do you have any experience with money transfer services, like TransferWise? How I usually do it is my German bank has a partner bank in Scotland. At Barclays, I can get cash out for free. So what I do is I get the cash out that I need, for example, for my rent. Then I go to my Scottish bank, which is the Bank of Scotland, and I put the money into there, and then I transfer it from my Scottish bank account to my landlord, for example. That's maybe a bit more effort, but it's free. Obviously, if you do it with online banking, there is usually some kind of fee, so I like to do it that way. How to choose the right bank, how to know which one is the best. So again, this totally depends on your country, but what I always would recommend is to ask people. people in your destination country, you ask your landlord, you ask people at uni, just ask around. I got recommended the Bank of Scotland, so that's where I am. Usually a student bank account doesn't cost anything, so I would be really careful if they want to charge you any money, because a student bank account usually is free and all you need is a document from your university that says that you are a student, so you can open a student bank account, and then you usually have a consultation. Emily asks what's a good amount roughly to have in your bank account before leaving. So this totally depends. I would always say you need to have a buffer on your bank account. Like, never go to zero, because that's super stressful. So always make sure you have a buffer, 100 to 200 pounds. I would 100% say that. The money you might need is your savings. So depending whether you have it on your bank account or your savings account, obviously you would have that. But then generally, I would just recommend to have 1 to 2 months worth of living costs, because just in case you need a bigger purchase right now in the beginning, maybe you need to buy a piece of furniture or bedding or kitchen supplies, anything that might not be in your budget, make sure you have a bit more money on your bank account. Have local currency, so either at your destination you get some money from an ATM, or at home you go to your bank and you get the currency, because it's always good to have some cash just in case your cards don't work when you arrive, or you want to get a taxi and they don't take cards. So make sure you always have cash on hand. And then last but not least, Lisa asked, where do you find scholarships or any funds to help you provide to do the years abroad? I have a full section dedicated in my Girls Study Abroad ebook all about scholarships, what kind of different options there are, how to get them, best practices, any of those things. You can find that in my ebook, but you could look into getting a scholarship, obviously from your university. You could see to get a student loan from your home country. You could see if you can get funding from your host country, like for example SAS, which is the Scottish Awards Agency. They pay the tuition fees for all EU students, so maybe you can look into that. But as I said, this is a huge topic, and if I would go into detail now, this video would be an hour long. So if you found this helpful, if you need more information, I highly recommend you guys to get the Girls Study Abroad ebook, where I literally step by step put in all the advice that you need, all of my first-hand experience, and also things that I researched. I put it all into the ebook, made it really easy to understand. So I know that money is a huge topic, but I really hope that this video gave you a few answers that you need, if you need more answers. If you haven't watched yesterday's video in my 7-day video series, make sure you check it out. It is a really emotional video of me reading out a letter to my younger self. So in this video I really share with you guys how studying abroad completely changed my life. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys